this is the leg that I've already done. Probably should have done this part at a time. But anyway, this is the way it's going to work. This is the shape I was thinking of way back when I was talking about this back in the cabin of Little Girl. Anyway, this is the shape has all been cut out on the bandsaw and very nicely smoothed up, sanded, and it's ready to start staining and urethaning or whatever I'm going to do with it here. What I'm going to ultimately do here is this section right here is going to be hinged to the bottom of the table, just this section here. And when it's in the collapsed stage, it will be laying over like this, back against the bottom side of the table. When it comes to the upright position, okay, that's what I've done here. Okay, this is the block. This is also going to be mounted to the bottom side of the table. And what I've done is I've cut into the line. I'm going to break all these off. These are real easy to break off now that they've been cut like this. And I want to very carefully make sure that the depth of the cut, in other words, this opening here, which is exactly the same size as this right here. Okay, this width is this width. So what happens is when all these get cut out or just popped out of there and filed down, what I need that to do is to be exactly the same depth as that right there. So that when it comes into the stand-up position, it stands up right into this notch right here, which braces the back of the table leg. This, as I said, is I've already put a bevel on it. And so this will be facing the bottom side of the of the front of the table, out toward the cabin. And this is on each side. So anyway, that's the whole idea. That this is going to be hinged, and when it stands up, it's going to stand up right into this notch right here, which helps to brace it. I may put a secondary block right at the back of this to add even more support where it stands up. But for right now, this is the plan. I've got this here just simply as a spacer because it's the same depth as that. I've been using that to draw my line and cut down to it. So, all right, that's it for now. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed putting this on the bandsaw and very carefully shaping and sanding it out, and it took a lot of work to get it into this nice refined shape that you see here, but I think it's going to be really pretty. It's going to give a little bit of design, and this is all that comes against the floor right here, but this is precisely 24 3/4 inches long. When it stands up, it is going to be 24 3/4 inches long. That is the height of the bottom side of the captain's table, and so it should be dead on, should be perfect. By the way, this is the same old hunk of block that you saw in the dry fit that I did back in the cabin a while ago. And so, hey, it is not a block anymore. It's got some design to it, and I think it's going to be a nice looking captain's table when we get all said and done. There's all the little pieces that I popped out of there, and after grinding and shaping down, this is the fit right here. It's standing up. Well, obviously this is going to be upside down to where you see it now, but there's the fit. When it stands up, it'll stand up just like that, right into the notch. And not only will it stand up that way, but it is braced as it comes into the back of the notch, but it also, the parts on the side of this that fan out are supported by this. So anyway, that's the way it works, and I think it's going to come out really, really nice. I'm going to do a dry fit on the bottom side of the table next, and after that's dry fit, then I think we're ready to go ahead and start doing some staining and getting everything ready for the final phase of at least the leg side, the front of the table. Later on, what I'm going to do is work on the back of this, and I've got a whole other section of Meranti here that this heavy stuff that, like I keep calling it, this is poor man's mahogany, but it's called Meranti, and this is what I'm going to use for that shelf that comes out underneath the bottom of the companionway. That's all got to be cut, but I got more than enough stuff here to do the job. All right, so that's it for next little segment here, and it kind of explains where the whole project is going, and I'll keep you up to date as things progress. A whole lot of very careful craftsmanship and work and careful fitting. This is dry fit and ready to go. This is the way the block sits on the, and obviously all that's going to be sanded out, stained, urethane, the whole 9 yards. But anyway, this is how it all fits together. The table leg itself is hinged from the bottom. As far as what you're seeing here now is concerned, it will drop down, and this is how it will go into place. And I'd say that's a pretty good fit. Okay, so anyway, I love it. I love it. As a matter of fact, this is virtually flush back here. And that's exactly the way I wanted it to be, so that when it swings up into place, this is completely flush across the back and fit right into this notch, and it's just beautiful precision. Anyway, I don't mean to be bragging, but I'm really proud of that. So anyway, it all comes apart. Everything gets everything's already sanded, so everything gets stained and urethane. I'm going to stay with urethane on the table because it's going to be in use a lot. I'm not going to bother to use Captain's Spar varnish. I'm just going to go ahead and use the nice brand new varnish, polyurethane that I'd already bought. So. Anyway, just want you to see it, and it becomes part of this next little episode in the Captain's Table. Well, I have got everything done up that I need to get done here, except for one last coat I'm going to put on the leg itself. All this came out very nice. What I did, I've kind of been wanting to do one last coat on the bottom of the table anyway, so This has got 3 coats of polyurethane on it, and this is the block that the table leg stands up into. So what I did, I waited until I got this all completed as far as the varnishing is concerned. That's all it needs is 3 good coats. And then what I did is go ahead and, before putting this in place, I revarnished the whole bottom of the table. And then is one last little thing just to seal it in place. Instead of using an adhesive, I took the block and varnished the bottom of it and another coat, and then I put it down and screwed it into place, and now it is not only screwed down, but it is varnished down. And frankly, I don't think it's going to be ever coming up anyway, but it's done. So that worked out very well. So the only reason I'm going to be doing one more coat on this table leg is that I got a few little imperfections that just really bother me, and when I get even the tiniest bit of imperfection in a varnish coat, I go back and I just like that finish coat to be perfect. So anyway, I'll show one last little clip on this particular phase of the Captain's Table. As soon as the last coat is onto the table leg and everything is assembled and the hinge is down, and we'll show it standing up, and then we're done with this, and then we've got to move on to the shelf that goes into underneath the companionway, and that's my next part of this project. Well, with daylight waning, getting one last shot. This is my wife's office, and there's only one light over the desk. So anyway, all this is finally put back together. Everything's all varnished up and looking nice, and it came out the way I wanted it to. And so I've got some other pictures on here of how it looks when it's set up. I had to do this on an old antique trunk in the living room with a book under it on one end to make it up to 24 inches, 24 3/4. But anyway, this is how it all looks. Oh, wait a minute. Now we're going to have to turn that. Okay, but anyway, it's beautifully in position. Everything is nice and neat. And just turn it so we can see. Okay, anyway, you see. All right, so that's it. That's it for this end of things. The rest is going to start working on the back side of the table and how it's going to fit onto the companionway, the little ledge that I'm going to be fitting on here. And so I got to go figure that out now. And in the meantime, this finishes it out for this one.